Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 390. Wow, 10 episodes away from 400. This weekly show started back in July of 2017. So yeah, almost 8 years of 50 odd shows a year. That equals 400. That tracks. Crazy. Well, if you have any feedback for me about Tech It Out, what you like, what you don't, what you'd like to hear going forward, I'll plug my social media handles in a few minutes from now if you want to reach out. But first, let me tell you what's on tap today with our three great guests. We'll start off learning about an e-stroller. That's right, an electric stroller that can help parents push babies around town and maybe some groceries at the same time. As a parent of twins who didn't have this technology when they were little, this would have been great. So we're going to chat with a company called CYBEX, CYBEX, about its e-Gazelle stroller, as it's called. After that, for some fun in the home, we're going to hear all about a claw machine that you can buy today. Yep, the ones that you played at a carnival or a Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, which is now available for your home. We're going to get the deets on that with Arcade 1-Up. That's the company best known for its arcade machines like Galaga and Pac-Man, Golden Tee Golf. They have a digital pinball table and now a full-size claw machine. Also on Tech It Out this hour, I sit down with the head of Samsung Audio Research to hear all about the company's approach to sound in its TVs and soundbars. All of this and more on a brand new Tech It Out powered by Visa. Securing the world's payments is priority one. I'll tell you more about Visa's anti-fraud efforts shortly, but let's officially kick off the show with our first interview. Fun fact, baby strollers have been around since the 1700s. When William Kent, a landscape architect, designed a shell-shaped basket on wheels, but the carriage was initially designed to be pulled by ponies or dogs or even goats and not pushed. The prams that you push came in the mid-19th century. Okay, so fast forward to the 2000s, and hey, now we have electric strollers, e-strollers, and we're now going to hear about one with Jon McGuire. He's VP of Product Management for CYBEX North America. These are the folks behind the e-Gazelle S, as it's called, which I just saw for the first time yesterday. Welcome to the show, Jon. Good to chat with you.
Thank you.
Why don't we jump right in? Tell us, please, about the e-Gazelle S stroller.
Sure. So the e-Gazelle S stroller is based off of our Gazelle stroller that was launched in 2020. And basically, the e-Gazelle is a stroller that provides innovation and basically has a power assist mode that's incorporated into the stroller. If you think about it in today's world of e-bikes and e-scooters, it's similar technology where you have power either on demand or selectable that is rechargeable with a lithium-ion battery. Again, just trying to make the consumer experience with the product easier, and it's very adaptable.
All right, so with that in mind, it's been said good technology solves a problem. What's wrong with regular strollers? How do you make parents' lives easier?
Yeah, so the e-Gazelle, because it has so many different configurations, the e-Gazelle can actually go from a single to a double stroller. So really, depending on your lifestyle, it can really, solve a lot of different problems. I'll give you a couple examples of that. First one being, if you live in an area with lots of hills, the e-Gazelle provides power to go uphill, but it also has power braking to go downhill and really does that with the breeze. You can also use the stroller to stroll on uneven surfaces. So say, for example, you're a consumer that likes to go for walks, in a park, on a nature trail. If you're using the stroller in snow potentially or even sand, it allows the stroller to operate much better and provides assistance in those environments as well. And then lastly, if you're using the stroller with two children, so in the case of using it as a double stroller, you could potentially be pushing around 80 to 100 pounds with this stroller. So consumers with two children may choose to use the power feature even on flat surfaces or using it all the time.
All right. So if I can unpack your answer here, the two main advantages to the e-Gazelle S stroller is that A, it's electric. So you push a small lever, if I remember correctly, and it assists you to push it. And that really is helpful when you've got a couple of kids, and I have twins, so I can relate, up a hill and on uneven surfaces, as you said, or in snow or sand and that kind of thing at the beach. And B is that it's modular. You hinted at multiple configurations, right? So you can add a basket, remove one. You can put in a car seat that's compatible. You can have a little like grocery area in the back that I saw yesterday, that kind of thing, right? So you can add more or remove parts over time to the same core device.
That's correct. Yeah, there's over 22 different configurations that you can create with a stroller. As you mentioned, you can use it with a stroller seat. You can use it with an infant car seat, which we would then call it a travel system.
Yeah.
And you can also use it with a bassinet. So because of the different configurations, it really has an option that can work for any lifestyle.
What's so cool is something called a rocking mode. That's something that normal stroller can't do.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is actually one of my favorite features, and we get a lot of positive feedback from consumers. The e-Gazelle has a feature called the rocking mode that basically you can set to 3 different intervals. You basically set the brake, you power it on, you hit a button, and it goes into this automatic rocking mode to basically help soothe your child. It'll run for 20 minutes and then it'll automatically turn off. And for anybody that's ever taken a stroller to, a coffee house or out to dinner and you're having to sit there and use your hand or your foot to rock the stroller, you're really going to appreciate that feature.
Now, look, I'm not a tall guy. Can I climb in there? Because that sounds like something I could take advantage of for a little nap.
There is a weight limit, but maybe you might fit.
Fair enough. And just going back to the way it works, Jon, before we move on. So it is a small lever that is near your right thumb, if that's fair, and it's under the handle. It's intuitively placed. You just press it.
Correct. It's selectable. So basically, it's very ergonomic. You use your thumb for going forward. You just press with your thumb, and then depending on how hard you press, that will affect the speed of the stroller. And then when you're going into a downhill mode or a braking mode, you use your index finger, and there's another lever, very ergonomic again, that you just press in reverse, and that operates as a brake.
Okay, and speaking of which, if any listeners are concerned that they think the stroller is just going to take off with their baby in it, that is not the case, because once your thumb is off the lever, it slows right down to a stop, right?
Absolutely. As soon as you take your thumb off, the power is no longer to the motor, and it will stop.
We are chatting with Jon McGuire. He's Vice President of Product Management for CYBEX North America. That's CYBEX. This is the company behind the e-Gazelle S e-stroller, an electric stroller. Just like there's electric cars, there's also e-bikes and e-scooters that assist you with transportation. Now you've got something for baby. Who would you say it's for exactly? And does it look like other baby strollers, Jon?
Absolutely. The e-Gazelle basically is the same as the Gazelle stroller. Looks the same, functions the same, folds the same. The only differences are you have the trigger assist at the top, and then you have a lithium-ion battery that's in the basket area. And then, everything's the same, and it only weighs 4 pounds more than the non-electric version. To your question of, who is it best suited for? As I mentioned earlier, because it has so many different configurations, it's difficult really to just pick one specific consumer because there are so many different options. I would say that it's best suited, again, for customers that live in areas with hills, customers that like to go a little bit off-road on nature trails and parks. And then lastly, again, as I mentioned, for consumers that have 2 children and they really just want help pushing, that 80 to 100 pounds around on flat ground, absolutely don't forget that consumer that really just loves that rocking feature because it's so cool.
Indeed. And how do you charge it up? Is it like your phone where you just plug it into the wall?
Yeah, it comes with an included charger, just like any other electronic device. Plug it into the wall. It takes about 3.5 hours to get a full charge on the battery. If you're using the stroller a lot in power mode, you can purchase a additional battery as an accessory. The battery has a life range, and it's really based on the conditions of how you're using it, such as, hills, the terrain it's on, how much weight are you pushing in the stroller, and then, again, how often are you actually using that feature. In a worst case scenario, it's got about a 5-mile range. In normal conditions, it's 12 miles plus. So it really, it can last for a long time.
Devil's advocate question. You're out for a walk with your baby and the battery dies because you forgot to charge it up for a while. Can you push it like a regular manual stroller?
Absolutely. If the battery dies, or if you just choose to not turn the power on, it operates exactly the same as the standard Gazelle stroller. No difference in how it pushes. And again, as I said, it functions, folds, rolls, everything's exactly the same.
Great. All right. So let's talk how much the e-Gazelle S costs and where can we learn more?
Yeah, so the e-Gazelle S is available in the United States with a retail of $10.99 and in Canada with a retail of $16.99. If you want to learn more about the product, you can go to cybex-online.com.
All right. Again, CYBEX-online.com. Do you have retail support?
We do. You can find the e-Gazelle across many retailers in the United States, such as Nordstrom's and a specialty store called Bambi Baby. In Canada, you can find it at West Coast Kids, as well as another specialty retailer called Snugglebugs.
Thank you so much, Jon. Great to chat with you, and congrats on the launch of the e-Gazelle S. I hope it does well for you. And again, I saw it for the first time yesterday, and I thought it was wonderful. My wife was with me. Incidentally, we had 3 kids in 2 years, so it's one of those things where we're like, geez, we wish we had this when our kids were young. They're now in their 20s. But I hope it does really well for you. Yeah. All the best.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
You are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. We have 2 more great topics and guests to get to this hour. After a short break, we're going to learn all about the Arcade 1-Up claw machine. That's right, just like the one that you may have played at a fair, a carnival, or at a Chuck E. Cheese, now available for your home. So we're going to hear who it's for, how it works, how much. Sounds like a great Mother's Day or Father's Day gift, perhaps something for the family. Then after that, I sit down with the head of Samsung Audio Research to hear about sound design in their TVs and soundbars. A lot more Tech It Out to get to. We'll be right back after this short break.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We cover cybersecurity a lot on this program and how you can best protect yourself in the digital age, even if you're not super tech savvy. One part of the solution is securely shopping online. And so I'm thrilled about my partnership with Visa on Tech It Out, as they've made some significant investments in fraud prevention over the past 5 years, as much as $10 billion. Yes, that's billion with a B, to support Visa's brand promise to protect the financial information of individuals and businesses. Zero liability means peace of mind when you shop online using your Visa card. There can be no half measures when it comes to cybersecurity, which is why the company takes an aggressive and multi-layered approach to combating the rising threat of malicious software and other threats by well-funded and global criminal enterprises. Read more about Visa and how securing the world's payments is priority 1 at visa.com/security. That's visa.com/security. Hey, if you like claw machines, the ones you'd find at a carnival or a Chuck E. Cheese, and in movies like Toy Story,
Claw is our master.
Then you're going to love what Arcade 1-Up has just released for the home. Yep, a claw machine to test your skill in picking up prizes using those little levers and such. Joining us on the line to grab our attention is Arcade 1-Up's Cyrus Rosenberg. He's Senior Vice President of Licensing and Business Development. Welcome to the show, Cyrus. Good to chat with you.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here.
Hope you didn't mind the bad dad pun off the top about grabbing our attention. But yes, before we talk about the Arcade 1-Up claw machine, tell us a bit about the company. I guess Arcade 1-Up is best known for your arcade machines that many a man cave and she shed has, no doubt, and digital pinball as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, glad to. And we got to find a term that encompasses the whole family, but I love man cave and she shed. Back in 2018, Arcade 1-Up was founded based on the idea of a white space, of coming from a toy background. We have so many people who employ our company who are just true fans of pop culture, fans of family entertainment, and fans of the IP that we work with. And through that fandom, we kind of made an interesting discovery, which is there is a plethora, there is a mountain of top quality, amazing video game experiences that do not exist on their original hardware. Coupled with the fact that given the time that has gone by since the original arcade boom, there are so many technological enhancements that the right company could make if given the time. And we really set out on that mission to create the best, most authentic version of these classic arcade games for at-home consumer use. Through that, we kind of went on a little adventure of our own, constantly improving our products by adding features like Wi-Fi, multiple games per unit, allowing them to be assembled so they can be flat packed, and all sorts of other great enhancements. But what was really exciting for us is that the original item became kind of the line, which became ultimately a category. And we as fans ourselves saw this brand grow. And we saw lots of different people build out their at-home game rooms using our products, which allowed us the creative freedom to kind of expand. And that's where you get these additional products like what comes after arcade machines. We should make a pinball unit. What would people put on the wall? Maybe an at-home photo booth, which we launched last year. And of course, the item we're talking about today, which is our at-home claw machine, and personally one of my favorite items, honestly.
All right, so without further ado, let's get to that. As the name suggests, it looks like and operates like a claw machine that you would find at a carnival. Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely. And like all of our machines, authenticity is kind of the foundation of how we build out our products. So it does have all of the kind of features one would expect with a claw machine, such as different difficulty settings, but also what I'm most excited about, which is a real commercial grade claw inside of there. So it is grabbing to the efficacy of other claw machines you might find in a commercial arcade, but of course made for at-home use for you and the family.
All right, so for those who haven't played with one of these things before, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's usually two levers. There's one that moves the claw left and right and forward and back. There's usually a glass cabinet that has the prizes inside, whether it's stuffed animals or candy inside of a ball or something like that. And then the other lever, or it's a button that you press for the claw to then descend down into the mountain of stuff. And your goal is to try to pick it up without it slipping, and then you get to keep it. It falls into a little receptacle, and then you can take it out the front. Is yours pretty much the same idea at its core?
Absolutely. I honestly don't think I could have said it better myself. This is actually a fully featured, authentic claw machine experience, just simply designed for at-home use. So yes, it has a fully featured control deck in which you are in control of the claw and the actual drop, with the ultimate goal being to win a prize from our machine. But what makes this so great for at-home use is that our machine is refillable at the consumer level. So we actually include 12 capsules alongside that are perfectly fitted for the claw to be able to pick up depending on your challenge mode. So you can fill it with all walks of different prizes that you yourself thought of or that are readily available. So it really is a customizable consumer version.
All right, I'm going to have to ask Cyrus about the difficulty settings, what that means exactly, if it's tied to the tightness of the claw. It's always, you think you got that prize and it slips through. So I'm going to ask him about that, as well as how you get the prizes in there, because I think you're on your own for that. So a lot more Tech It Out to get to. We're going to return with Cyrus Rosenberg from Arcade 1UP to learn about its claw machine. And then don't forget, after that, if you're an audiophile, you take your music and sound effects seriously in movies, TV shows, video games, and so on. We're going to chat with the head of Samsung Audio Research based in North LA to tell us about the science behind sound in Samsung's latest TVs and soundbars, what separates their products from others. So we're going to get to all of that on Tech It Out. But first, we're going to learn more about the just launched claw machine from Arcade 1UP when we return on Tech It Out.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. We're chatting with Cyrus Rosenberg. He's SVP of Licensing and Business Development at Arcade 1UP. This is a company best known for its three-quarter sized arcade units, from Ms. Pac-Man to Golden Tee Golf. They also have a digital pinball solution where you can swap between different boards digitally. There's also a games table called Infinity that has digital versions of classic board games. But now the company has released the Arcade 1UP claw machine, just like the one that you'd find at your local fair in your city, a carnival, or at a Chuck E. Cheese, but it's in your own home. And we're learning all about it. All right, and I'm going to ask you more about the difficulty settings in a moment. So you're responsible for filling it up. Again, I mentioned stuffed animals earlier, but you can put whatever you want inside of those things. So if you've got a kid's birthday party, that's a particular theme, then as a parent, you can fill it up and have the kids play and collect something that's relevant to the day. Or if it's Christmas, you may have, some stocking stuffers in there. Does it have to fit in the capsules that you provide, those little plastic balls, if you will? Or can you pick up a stuffy if you don't want to use those balls?
Absolutely. So I can explain that a little bit more. So we actually do a lot of product testing, which I say testing, but it really means us in the office love to play these products. But it picks up all sorts of different items. In our office alone, we've filled it with different kind of trinkets, action figures. We even put a mini skateboard in there at one point. The capsules are designed to be, if you will, kind of an adapter. I can guarantee the claw will pick it up if you put it in a capsule, but we are very pro experimentation at Arcade 1-Up, and we love seeing fans come up with the items that we haven't even ourselves thought of. So we wanted to leave that open possibility. So there's lots of different items that can be picked up with the claw.
You mentioned difficulty settings. I think the pain point for many people who have ever tried to use a claw machine is that the claw itself is very loose, and you think you've grabbed that object that you want, you're hoisting it up, and you think it's yours, and then it falls through. So is that something that you can tweak?
Absolutely. And let me give you a little industry reveal here, if I can a
Let's
little bit.
Let's get this scoop. Yeah.
But of course, the very first thing when we come up with any product line is really authenticity. And there's a certain level of responsibility with our products because they're so nostalgia based. They are based on a memory someone might have. So with that requires a lot of research before even beginning development. And in researching how the commercial claw machine industry actually works it's actually a system of odds. So what a difficulty setting is representative of in the commercial level is the odds that the claw will actually pick up the item. And let's say maybe 1 out of 300 times, 1 out of 500 times, the actual claw operator sets those odds behind the scenes. However, we wanted to make sure our claw machine was consumer friendly and fun for the whole family. So while it is a system of odds, we have easy mode, normal mode, and scam mode. And while I'm not going to reveal exactly the odds those represent, I'm very excited for our consumers to kind of play around with it and figure it out. But yeah, we wanted to make it adjustable because, again, it's a family product. And, family takes many different shapes and forms, but we wanted a young person to be able to experience it and have as much fun as somebody in retirement and everything in between.
Love it. And tell us a bit more about the way it looks and sounds. Does it have like a light up marquee? Are there any sound effects?
Absolutely. So there are lights actually on the control deck as well as the marquee itself. And there's very different tunes and songs and sound effects to really enhance the experience as well as adjustable volume. So if you are throwing a claw machine party in which this is meant to be your centerpiece, it has all of the effects to draw a crowd in. If this is something to distract someone in the household or something that you might want a little quieter, we've of course accommodated that. So again, customization is very important to us because while we are basing these machines, whether it be claw or arcade machine, on an original idea, we want to adapt these to the needs of the modern consumer.
Great. And I know you offer volume control and all that on your arcade machines too, which is very handy, something that you did not find in the 80s with the coin-op arcade machines. The Galaga that you played could not change the volume. All right. And then finally, who would you say this is for exactly? I mean, I love the versatility of you being in control of difficulty and the prizes and all that. Is it for kids? Can you put adult toys in there if it's like a bachelorette party? Tell us who you think the target audience is.
We design our products for what we call families. But what we mean by that is we design it for all age groups. And you can really see that by the consumers who have already taken to the internet to kind of praise this claw machine of, we really believe in bringing in-person entertainment together. So we definitely want kids to be able to play it, but all age groups can have fun with the claw machine due to the customizable features. I've seen college kids buy and enjoy our claw machine. I have also seen kids under preschool have the best time with it and kind of everything in between I actually just got my parents one, and they love it as well. So, we really intend for everybody to kind of find a meeting point with our products.
Awesome. And then with that in mind, how much does the Arcade 1-Up claw machine cost? Where can we buy it? I don't know if you have retail support or if it's through your website. And is there a place where we can learn more?
Absolutely. So the claw machine is $4.99, and the best place for up-to-date product information would be arcade1up.com.
All right, arcade1up.com. The one is number one. Cyrus, great to chat with you. Congrats on the launch of the claw machine. I can't wait to try it out myself. Thanks again.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Hey, I love hearing from Tech It Out listeners. So I'm going to spell my name in a moment, but I'm on all the major social media platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads, and a couple of others as well. It's Mark Saltzman, MarkSaltzman. Let me know where you're tuning into Tech It Out from, if it's on your favorite local talk radio station, or maybe you're tuning into the podcast version. Love hearing how you listen to Tech It Out, where you're listening to it from, what part of the country you're in. I've also heard from listeners around the world, which is really cool. Somebody last week from South Africa said that they tune in via a Seattle radio station online. Really cool. And if you have any tech questions for me, suggestions for upcoming guests or topics, I'm all ears. Again, it's Mark Saltzman. Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. If you prefer to email me instead of social media, my website is simply marksaltzman.com, and you'll find where you can email me at the bottom of the page. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from you on this 390th episode of Tech It Out. When we return on this program, we're going to catch up with Samsung, someone who's in charge of its audio research division in North LA. We're going to hear the company's approach to sound in its TVs, and I would expect that even more effort is put into sound bars, which doesn't require a Samsung TV, but they do have some award-winning sound bars we're going to hear about. So stick with us, a lot more Tech It Out to get to right after this short break. We'll be right back.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. When you've got huge and beautiful screens on our walls, sometimes the quality of the picture overshadows the great sound many of these TVs and soundbars are capable of today. And so it's time we put audio front and center. And so I'm here at Samsung HQ with Allan Devantier, VP of Samsung Audio Research, to talk about the importance of audio in your visual entertainment. Welcome to the show, Allan. Great to meet you and good to chat with you.
Thanks. I'm really glad to be here.
All right. Now, before we talk about Samsung specifically, would you agree with what I hinted at off the top, is that the picture on these TVs often dominates the experience? But what about audio? Would you agree that it often takes a back seat?
So, yes, in a way. But I think the reason why you get so much attraction to video is that the improvement in picture quality and size every year just moves up and up and up and up. You think about a TV from 2005. Flat screen back then for 27 inches was $5,000. Today, I've got an 85-inch TV in my home theater that costs less than that.
Yeah, like 800 or whatever in some cases. If I can read between the lines, it's that the evolution of the picture quality seems to be more significant, so that we're paying so much more attention to that. But the audio is also improving over time, or could it be argued that it's getting worse because the thinner these TVs get, maybe we shouldn't be expecting great sound out of pancake-shaped speakers?
Yeah. Well, so I think, TV sound has improved, certainly over the years, no doubt about it. But yes, thin TVs are definitely a challenge from an acoustic engineering point of view. Probably one of the reasons why we have a lab in the U.S. to focus just on sound for TVs and sound bars.
Tell us a bit about the lab, and then we'll continue chatting about TV audio and sound bars.
11 years ago, Samsung decided to make a big investment in sound and set up an audio lab in North LA. We've got about 20-25 people, research scientists and engineers, and our entire goal is about making better better audio.
This is not new for Samsung, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, they acquired Harman, right? And that's JBL and AKG as well.
Yeah. So our lab, we started maybe 4 years before the acquisition of Harman. And funny enough, of the 5 founding members of my lab, myself included, a lot of us worked at Harman. I've got 21 years at Harman and 11 at Samsung.
Oh.
So.
Wow. Would it be fair to say that if you expect good audio from a TV, you should invest in a soundbar, or can you get really good audio out of a TV, Samsung or otherwise?
So if your TV is predominantly being used for, news, maybe sitcoms, that kind of content, then I think, a TV, the sound quality of the TV is probably going to be good enough for you. Once you start thinking about using your TV to give you music or to do movies, then I really think you should invest in a soundbar.
Video games as well.
Video games, of course. Yes.
All right. So a sound bar, a lot of my listeners will be familiar with this. It's usually a horizontal bar that you place just below, in some cases above the TV, that delivers multi-channel audio in most cases. Is it meant to simulate like the old days of a surround sound system? Left and right audio in the front, left and right in the rear, and a subwoofer is the 0.1 for that low-end frequency that you often would put in the corner of your room. Could it almost replace the hassle in many cases or expense of a true surround sound system?
Absolutely. Today's soundbars, like our flagship soundbar, is capable of delivering sound quality that is very, very, very close to a dedicated home theater at a fraction of the price and significantly easier for the consumer to use.
And also ideal for smaller spaces like those in condos and such.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk a bit more about Samsung's approach to audio and the work that you do, Allan, and your team. Is there anything unique Samsung is doing that other TV makers are not?
So Samsung made a serious investment in audio 11 years ago when we started our audio lab. The audio business in LA is strong and thriving, and a lot of our team members, original team members, actually came from Harman, and we're really proud that Harman's part of the Samsung family now. And what we did was we brought that approach to audio first to TVs and soundbars. And so the team is entirely focused on making great sound, and we're all music lovers. If you're in this lab, you love music. And the fact of the matter is music is that great litmus test for sound. When we listen to music, if it sounds good with music, it's going to sound good for news, it's going to sound good for comedies, and it's going to sound great for home theater and cinema. So our approach has been to bring top quality design work that was applied to speakers only to soundbars and TVs. And we've been successful. When I started this lab 11 years ago, I said, we're going to compare ourselves to dedicated audio companies, not to the consumer electronic companies. And people kind of rolled their eyes and said, Samsung can't do that. Well, in 2017, we launched the first Atmos soundbar, and it immediately got recognition as the best sounding soundbar money can buy, period. And that was comparing to the audio brands. And that year, that product launch, it outsold all our competitors for 2 years and got great critical acclaim, and Samsung had arrived. It was now understood that Samsung is making great sound.
And just to bring everyone up to speed, Atmos is a Dolby technology, multi-channel surround sound that really is designed mostly for movies and some TV shows that support it as well as games. So it's a technology that you may not think you need until you hear it, and then it's hard to go back, if that's fair. And you can achieve this out of the TV itself, or do you need a soundbar for Dolby Atmos?
You want to get a soundbar if you're listening to immersive content, and that's what Dolby Atmos is. It's the wave. Immersive audio is the wave of the future.
We are going to continue chatting with Allan Devantier from Samsung Audio Research when we return on Tech It Out. We had a sit down and went through different soundbars and TVs and together listened to the audio from different content like TV shows, music, and all that. Really impressive, I have to say. And nice to get Allan's take on the science behind sound. When we return, I'll also press him to recommend a couple of models, one for those on a budget, one for those that have a little bit more cash to spend. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We are chatting with Allan Devantier. He's VP of Samsung Audio Research based in North LA. We're talking the importance of audio in your visual entertainment, i.e. your TV room, your home theater setup, and how it's often overlooked, if that's not the right phrase, overshadowed, as we're talking about audio. You know, I think it was George Lucas who once famously said that audio is half of the movie viewing experience. It actually makes, in our brains, it makes the picture look better. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. In fact, there's scientific research published in the Audio Engineering Society where they basically asked people, they showed them a picture and said, what do you think of picture quality? Give it a grade. And then they showed the exact same picture but gave the system upgraded sound, and the picture quality numbers went up when there was better sound. Yeah. So there's no question sound is a big part of the experience.
Yeah, it's a holistic thing. And we often, as content consumers, we're not segregating what our senses are experiencing. It's like the collective, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Good sound is a fantastic way to improve picture quality.
And do you listen to music through a soundbar? Like, I mean, is that something that most Samsung consumers do, you think, where they can wirelessly stream music from, say, a phone or a tablet to a soundbar?
Absolutely. One of the top apps in our TVs is Spotify and Tidal. Customers are using Samsung TVs and Samsung soundbars to listen to music, and that's a great way to entertain the family. It's easy to use. Pick up your remote, and you can find anything you want on the internet and just start playing it.
All right, so you can use an app that's built into your Samsung Smart TV platform, or you can stream from a mobile device to, in some cases, to a TV, but always to a soundbar. I mean, most have Bluetooth today. I think it's pretty much table stakes.
And Bluetooth is fine. So, if you're running Spotify on your phone and you're playing back Bluetooth, you're going to get good performance. But there are now, for example, Tidal has the capability where you're actually running the app on the soundbar, controlling it from your phone. So natively, you can get higher resolution formats like immersive audio rather than just stereo.
All right, Allan, as we wrap up, is there a soundbar you could recommend? I mean, it must be overwhelming to consumers when they walk into, say, a big box retailer and see several aisles of soundbars, assuming they want to invest in a Samsung, which, by the way, you don't need a Samsung TV. It'll work with any TV. What should you look for, or can you recommend some models?
Yeah, so I think there's two really interesting products that we have right now that are worth mentioning. There's the QS700. It's a great product for wall-mounted applications, but it is also capable of being put on a credenza as well. It's at a popular price point, and the sound quality is excellent. It is a fantastic product for people that are just getting into better picture and better sound.
And that's a dedicated soundbar, no subwoofer or rear speakers or anything like that?
There's no rear speakers, but there is a subwoofer that goes with it, and it's tiny. You can tuck it in the corner of the room, and it's out of the way, and it's not obtrusive at all.
Now, let's say you have a healthier budget, and you are a home theater enthusiast. What would you recommend in that case?
So the Q990 is our flagship product. It and its predecessors have been ranked best in class for years now, and it is our flagship product. We're very proud of it. It delivers a complete immersive experience. It includes a soundbar that you can tuck under the TV on a credenza, powerful dual 8-inch woofer with lots of amplifier power that's still in a very small enclosure. You can, again, tuck it in the corner of the room, and it'll just be almost invisible. And then a pair of rear surrounds that you can put in the back of the room, and the performance of this system rivals home theater systems.
Best website to learn more about Samsung Audio Research and the work that you're doing, and or where we can learn more about soundbars and TVs that have stellar sound.
There's, Samsung.com, and if you snoop through the audio sections, you'll find little tidbits about our audio lab under the various products.
All right, Allan, great to chat with you. Thank you so much. It's nice to meet a fellow audiophile. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Before we wrap up another episode of Tech It Out, I wanted to give Visa another shout out. Thank you for your ongoing support on this program. Visa's MO is to protect both consumers and businesses. You can read about its anti-fraud efforts at visa.com/security. That's visa.com/security. And I also wanted to thank SanDisk, no longer part of the Western Digital family, by the way, if you weren't aware of. They, of course, are known for their solid state drives, USB thumb drives, micro SD, all this flash storage that isn't just great for backing up your important files, which I talk about a lot on this program, but it's also fast enough and light and small enough to work off those drives. So perfect for content creators, maybe editing in the field, whether it's on your phone, tablet, or laptop. Look for high capacity and fast flash storage like SSDs, solid state drives, and I only trust SanDisk for their reliability, great price points, amazing customer service, and additional software that you often get with the drives. So SanDisk.com has more. I want to thank you for tuning in to Tech It Out. I hope you enjoyed the show. We talked about a new claw machine for the home from Arcade 1-Up. We talked with CYBEX about its Gazelle e-stroller, an electric stroller for parents to give them a hand. And finally, Samsung Audio Research. I'm wishing you all a fantastic rest of your day, and I look forward to catching up with you next weekend for another brand new episode of Tech It Out.